Okay, this meeting is called to order. Chair, member, and committee reports.
We do not have any.
Don't have any, okay. Mail, phone messages.
Hundreds, but none that needs to be discussed.
Okay. Public inquiries, it says stormwater runoff.
Is anyone here for stormwater runoff South Charlton Reservoir? Remember it was continued from the last meeting?
Yeah.
Oh, is that other piece of, yeah, right?
Huh?
The,
The runoff from the roads. Is
Yeah.
anyone on Zoom regarding stormwater?
I'm hiding right behind the chair.
Okay,
All right. Approval of minutes? Do we need-
none.
No minutes, okay. First hearing, notice of intent, DEP number 128-1880 Griffin Road. The applicant has submitted a notice of intent for the construction of a battery energy storage system within 1,000 feet of the buffer zone of a BBW.
Will be continued to September 27th at 7 p.m.
Point of, 100 feet.
What is
I
that?
know. Oh, I misread it, sorry. That was 100 feet, sorry. Do I need a motion to continue?
I'll make the motion.
no, second
All those in favor?
to
Aye.
September what?
27.
Okay.
Ayes have it. That's been going on forever. Next
It'll be
one,
over next time.
DEP DEP number,
No,
6
DEP.
Gale Road. The applicant has submitted a notice of intent for the construction of a new shared driveway crossing with associated 1.5 to 1 wetland replication.
So we'll be continuing it, but instead of continuing to the 27th, why don't we give it, continue to October? I just need to know when is the next meeting in October.
Is this the one that was in front
Just,
of us several years ago? It's on the dam side,
for Gay Road?
on Gale Road?
No,
On Bufferville Dam side of Gale Road?
no,
No,
I don't think so. This is the common driveway.
yeah.
I have a letter, actually, it's at the end of it. She has a common driveway for 2 houses, which that's our bylaw allows. She wants to build 2 other homes, but
Right.
she wants to utilize the same driveway. So she's going through the zoning board of appeals because she has to cross the wetlands again and put another culvert within 50 feet from the previous culvert, and GP is saying no. So I wrote a letter of support, see if the board agrees to sign, so I can give to the zoning board of appeals and see if she can move forward with it. But for now, we'll be continuing it.
So I will need a motion to continue.
We'll continue to October 11.
I need a motion to continue to October
Yeah,
11th.
I'll make that motion too.
Yeah, second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it. All right, next on the agenda, DEP number 128-1890, Lot 4B, Oxbow Road. The applicant has submitted a notice intent for the construction of a single-family home with septic system and associated utilities.
We'll be continued to September 27.
I'm sensing a theme.
I'll make a motion to continue to September 27th.
I'll second that.
She beat me.
She did.
All those in
It
favor?
was making my meetings
Aye.
easier because I
I'm
could just
sorry.
copy and
Okay,
paste. What are
copy
you
paste.
doing? I don't have the time for this.
All right, let's see if 4 times a charm. Notice of intent, there's no DP number, 28 Curtis Hill Road and New Spencer Road. The applicant has submitted a notice of intent for the construction of a 72-lot subdivision and associated grading.
Oh.
Julian, I see you there, but I'm assuming you're here for Burlingame. Or yeah, you want to speak on this project as well?
Yes,
Okay, sure. Go ahead.
I can just bring you up to what I know so far.
Okay.
I don't know why we don't have a DEP number yet, and it's been a while, but I called and I haven't received any reason why we don't have it, but we're waiting for that, so we'll have to continue. But I did meet with Arthur Allen at the site, and we did do a few minor revisions and additions that Arthur wanted to see and have. And I believe that's where we're at as far as
Correct.
our part. And I think we're just waiting for the DEP number to get to the next step.
Yeah, and I'm also waiting for all the stormwater reports, and I haven't received that yet.
Oh, so that's from Gary and Hanlon, so I'll follow up on them and
Okay.
make sure you get it.
Okay, wonderful. So
So we
we'll,
can continue.
we'll continue till September. Do you want to continue for it in 2 weeks, or do you want to push it to
Yes, let's
October?
go for the 2 weeks.
Okay,
2 weeks would be good.
9/27.
So I need a motion to continue.
No, I made a motion.
A second.
All in favor?
Nobody made a motion.
Mitch made a motion.
Mission.
Now he told Ron to make a motion.
Oh,
You got it.
Okay.
Continue. All right, next page. Notice of intent, DEP number 128-1906, Lot 3, Brindle Hill Road. The applicant has submitted a notice of intent for construction of a single-family home and associated grading.
So for the record, this has changed to Lot 4,
Okay.
and that's the only thing really that was holding up the project. It's mostly outside the buffer, but we're waiting for the parcel to be corrected. So Julian, you can speak if you like.
Yes, that's, because there was a confusion with lot numbers, it was easier to just call it Lot 4 at this point. There was already a Lot 3 on this piece of property on the other end, so we had done a Form A on the planning board, they signed and endorsed it, so that's all done. I believe Board of Health has approved the septic design as is shown, and we do have a DEP number now, so I believe everything is in your possession. I did get an email from you today that just wanted to correct that front page. I'll get that to you ASAP to show lot 4 instead of 3. So I think that's just a minor.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I just want to have that before issuing the order conditions. So anytime between now and Tuesday would be fine.
Can we close
Between
it?
now and, okay,
Tuesday,
yeah, I'll get it to you tomorrow.
okay, and make sure to send to GP as well, so they have it on file.
Yes, yep.
Any board members have any questions?
So we approved one.
That's right next to the other houses there.
That we just approved, yeah. Same lot, so he divided to build that one.
Any audience members have a question? Do you want a motion to approve?
To close the hearing and issue the conditions.
Motion to approve the hearing and issue.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
All right.
all right.
I got one off the list.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next on the agenda,
I'll have it ready by Tuesday.
another one with no DEP number, 190B, Brookfield Road. The applicant has submitted an after-the-fact notice of intent for construction and/or removal of a berm and repair of pipe within 100 feet of a BVW. Do we have anybody presenting?
No? We'll be
Was this the one we were
continuing.
talking about last time?
Yes.
Yeah.
With the garage?
I
Yeah.
have a feeling that he has not filed with DEP yet, since then.
Because we don't have a DEP number.
Right.
We can't close it anyways.
It's taking way too long
Oh,
for
that's up
just.
with the.
That's the
At the
Autobahn
gas
shop.
station,
Yeah.
yeah, Michael's, yeah.
I called him and I asked, have you filed? And he, oops, and I go, okay.
Having biked by it recently, I can say that not much has been done.
Like, it's just the removal of a berm, I'll have a GP number by now.
This will drag on a little bit until we forget about it.
It's a big
I think he
berm.
wants to
It's a-
keep the berm.
It's a big berm.
Yeah.
It's a very
It's-
big
Did you see?
Yeah, it's, I was like, that's not a berm.
That's a wall.
That's a wall.
Or-
So I continue till September 27th.
I need a motion to continue.
Motion to continue to
There you go.
April,
There you go.
September 7th,
27,
27th.
Yep.
second.
Oh, what was the 7th?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Okay. Next, an abbreviated notice of resource area delineation for Gould Road and Cemetery Road. The applicant has filed an NRAD to confirm the delineation of a bordering vegetated wetland.
So we will be continuing till September 27th. They did revise, submitted some revised materials, but I haven't reviewed yet.
I need a motion to continue.
I'll make a
Motion
motion.
to continue?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
This list is getting longer and longer with all these continuations. Another one with no DP number, 71 Sunset Drive.
That actually has one, 128/1907.
Did you guys get that? 128-1907. The DP number, 71 Sunset Drive. The applicant has submitted a notice of intent for the repair and construction of a new retaining wall, walkway, and associated grading. And I'm assuming you're the applicant.
He's the representative, yeah?
Representative.
Go ahead, Sam, just let me know what you're doing there.
Just rebuilding a stone wall that's existing on the water.
During drawdown?
Yep.
And you're doing a little walkway, some steps?
Yeah, a walkway, steps through the wall, and a walkway up to the existing deck,
Leaving the trees,
the big trees.
the big trees?
Yep. Yeah, there's two big trees.
The only thing I don't have on the plans, the erosion control, where you're planning on putting that, so just for the record,
Hay
I
wattles.
just make sure that you have it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's gonna need probably a few going on there.
Where is 71? Is that towards Lemansky or the other?
The other way?
It's the other way, right?
In
Yeah,
between.
Main Lake,
In between?
Yeah, go down, take a left.
The wide part of the lake,
yeah.
Hmm?
The main part of the lake.
the
biggest
widest part of the lake.
Yeah.
Or is that the widest
Yeah,
part?
is, it's pretty close. Is,
Yeah.
and DP have any questions or no?
No, I'm ready to close and issue it.
Excuse me.
Yes,
I'm sorry, unless we have some abutters, sir.
Yeah, no, just, this is Bob and Monica Pisk. We happen to own the property next door at 67 Sunset. We just had a couple of inquiries. This is something, something new to us and just wanted to inquire about possibly the construction of the wall itself. Is it going to be, again, heavy machinery coming down the in between the properties? Is it gonna be coming down just on the owner's property?
On the owner's property.
Okay, only because again, there are sewage pipes on the other side, so obviously there's some concern there. And it was my understanding that the owner of 71 Sunset, I believe her name is Linda, she reached out to me during the summer and mentioned that the property encroaches about 1.5 feet. And I was just wondering if there's, or at least a wall portion of it anyway. Wondering if we could take a peek at some plans, or if that's just gonna be untouched. And I think Rose mentioned that it was gonna be untouched at this point in time. Is that still accurate?
She'll be working on her wall only within her property line, which is 58
Yep.
feet.
And I'm pretty sure there's a pin.
And there's a pin
I'm
there,
pretty
I
sure there's a pin
believe,
down there.
showing the property
Okay.
line.
Yeah, I'm not sure, to be honest with you. I mean, we could certainly take a peek at it, but, yeah, if that's the case, then, no problem at all. Like I said, this is kind of our first time going through something like this, so we just wanted to inquire about it, that's all.
Yeah, of course.
okay.
Anyone else?
You need a
Motion.
motion
Motion
to
to close
close the hearing and issue or
and-
condition?
Mitch, may I
Motion
just
to-
have that plan back?
Hmm?
Please, may I have
Yeah,
the plan back?
All right. We have a motion? Second?
Second?
Who did the motion?
Alan.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it.
I'll have it for you next week sometime.
Yeah,
Probably
thank
Tuesday.
Two done.
Yeah.
Drawdown, when is
You're
that
doing about as well as the
drawdown?
Red Sox.
Earlier than October 10th. Okay. Probably more closer to the 15th. that's
Yeah.
nice.
Sounds good.
All right,
Thank you,
all
guys.
right,
Have a great
thank you,
night.
yeah, you too.
Okay, another one with no DEP number unless it's a last minute one that came
Let
through.
me see, where are we? 6B?
We're at 6B0.
No GP number.
I'm sensing we have some presentation coming.
Yes.
0 North Side Road, the applicant has submitted a notice of intent for construction of a 12-foot wide paved driveway, single-family home, septic, subsurface infiltration for roof runoff, utilities, and grading. Go Go ahead, you are up.
Let me show you my plans, 'cause
We've got a nice 3D thing coming.
I know. So I had a site visit with Brian. When was it, Brian? Last week? 2 weeks? Last week.
Yes,
Yeah,
last
last week.
Dang, so there's a fair amount of wetland behind the property, eh?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, this is
Well, they're pretty
lot
far.
6B. You recently
Oh,
just
excuse me
approved,
1 second. Is there any butters that wanna look at this? Okay, go ahead.
this locust map here kind of shows, this is 81 north side, which is the existing house. This is lot 5B, which you just approved like 2 months ago. That's not under construction yet. 6B is in the front here. This lot was approved back in, it was one of those lots that was approved. The order of conditions was extended and expired in 2017.
You know what, Brian? Thank you for bringing that up.
'Cause I see
Just a
that's on the
second. Yeah.
certificate of compliance.
So I'm just gonna jump to certificate of compliance first to close
That's
down.
fine.
Yeah, so,
I know you had it on the end of it.
yeah.
I just noticed that.
So, which one is that? 2227?
60 is 128, 1227, yeah.
Yeah, so I just need the motion to close, certificate of compliance for DEP number 128-1227, so Brian can open.
A new one.
Yep,
Did you guys catch that?
128-12.
Ron,
Yeah,
Mitch,
the first one.
the first one,
we have to issue a certificate of compliance for this
before
before we can
it opens the
open
next
this
one.
one.
So I need a motion to issue a
Make
complete
a motion
certificate
to
of
issue
compliance.
certificate of compliance.
Thank you.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Let's just go for the second one as well, because he's coming next. That's the same thing, the order condition expired and then he just filed again, so I need the motion
Yeah.
to close the certificate of compliance for 128-1218.
Yeah, 1B, yeah.
Do I have a motion?
Make a motion to close it.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
We got that out of the way. So as you just heard, the order of conditions you had issued expired in 2017. No work was started on the site. So we just refiled. It's a different house, but it's the same location. And we actually pulled the grading back, removed the wall. So it was previously approved to have work within 20 to 23 feet of the wetland. Now it's pulled back 34 to 35 feet, so we've reduced the amount of buffer zone work. The septic system didn't change, the Board of Health just reissued the permit on that. We took out a dry well and actually added infiltration chambers. Other than that, it's exactly same that was approved. So I know we're continuing 2 weeks, but we thought we'd open up the hearing. Get any comments. As Rose mentioned, we walked this last week, we walked 1B and 6B. Took it, the intermittent stream back here and the bordering vegetated wetlands that we flagged. And then the closest part of the house back here is 40, to the garage is 43 feet, to the closest area of the wetland, so, you know, it's been reduced compared to what was previously approved. Other than that, the driveway and the septic, everything is exactly the same, so we did reduce the overall, buffer zone alteration, so, I think Rose was fine with the delineation. So I'll open it up to you if you have any questions now.
Any comments, Russ?
I don't have any comments as of right now.
Any?
There's no DEP number, right?
Correct,
Right.
so,
Right, there had, from what I understand, there had been one, and if anything, they're
Yeah.
doing less intrusion, so
Right.
should be
Right.
just a
it
matter
should be
of
straightforward.
paperwork.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any abutters? Anybody on Zoom? So I guess we need a motion to continue?
Motion to continue.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Sure.
All in favor?
Who did the
Ron
first?
is first.
Ron, right?
Yeah, and then me.
Ayes have it.
May I have the plans back, please?
You may.
Continue at 27.
To take-
Deja
to
vu all over again. Lot 1B, 0 Northside Road.
Stop everything.
It says the applicant has submitted a notice of intent for construction of a
fix it later.
12-foot wide paved driveway, single-family home, septic, subsurface infiltration for roof runoff,
Oh, yeah,
utilities
I
and
know.
grading. I'm assuming that's right next door?
It's a couple lots up, yes,
Okay.
correct. And this one does have a DEP file number, 128,
Oh, yeah. Is it there?
1908.
It's
Sorry,
not on
yep,
there?
Okay,
one
it's not-
1908.
Yeah.
I don't have a full copy because some revisions were made, so that's the only copy we have for now, so.
Yes.
Okay.
So we had received some DEP comments, which we've addressed from Buda
Here are
Smith
the
at
comments.
Mass DEP. We spoke to her today, she had questions on the riverfront from a potential, USGS map shows a stream channel, perennial stream channel coming through the back of the property and going to the west towards the Mass Pike. This is this large beaver pond, which was created around 2006, so it's been a pond for 17 years. We've located, the large beaver dam is actually located on the backside of 49 North Side Road. So we showed the riverfront coming from that area, and she wanted us to show the estimated stream channel per USGS, and if we had any work in the riverfront based on something that's underwater. But we added that at her request, and we have no work in the 200-foot assumed riverfront, even though we think,
There's no river.
yeah, you're basing it off a 1983 USGS map, which is so outdated, and yet you have a beaver pond, and the regulations, which we quoted to her, state, you know, a river comes out of a pond or it ends in a pond, so I think she's fine with that. She did question, on an aerial photo, she saw some dark shading that looked to be a connection between the wetland that runs along the beaver pond to the central wetland, and that, in this area here, I'm sorry, between the 100 and 200 flag series. There was some shadowing, but there's an old channel here, but it doesn't connect between the two. And it hasn't had flow, you know, with the record rainfalls we've had, as Rose and I looked at. It's got dry leaves in it. You would seriously see a flow
Yeah.
path if there was a flow path in
sure.
there. So I think she was all set with that. She had a question on, there's an existing, as you come in this driveway, there's an existing 8-inch culvert that picks up drainage off this side. That was previously designed when these two driveways were designed. I'm gonna just jump back historically here for 1 second, just for you guys. This was the plan before, which was a common drive splitting here.
Okay,
This driveway goes to the 4-bedroom house at 47, that's existing. So what we did is, since they put the basin in, we moved the driveway, the common driveway entrance, a little to the north, which shortened this drive by 100 feet, so. Other than that, it's the exact same path that follows this ridge line. The house is in the same location. When this wetland line changed, when we redelineated, I believe in 2012, because of the beaver flooding, the septic system then became within 50 feet, so they've moved the septic to the north. It's completely out of the buffer zone now, and that was just recently approved by Board of Health as well. So, other than that, the driveway and the house location are essentially exactly the same. You do have this wetland system here. The finger comes down. If this gets enough water in it, it'll bleed out, but it infiltrates into the ground, which Rose and I took a look at. One of Ms. Schmidt's comments was, does this 8-inch pipe have the capacity for any of the runoff? And this was designed as part of that original driveway design. Our engineer resubmitted calculations to her showing that it has more than enough capacity. So I talked to her today, she was fine with 1B and the replies we had, so. I think we're looking to, I can go to a larger scale plan. I just wanna show you the overall, so this is the existing house. A1 you approved in the spring, that's under construction, this one's existing. 47 and 49 are existing, 4C and 5B down the road, and 6B you just saw, so. One other question she had was on drainage, if we're cutting off drainage to this interior wetland. But like I said, we're following this ridge line, so you still have flow coming to this wetland. And the majority of the flow is, these slopes all go to this area, and that's all undisturbed and will remain undisturbed, so we're not affecting the wetland as far as hydrology goes. I think we've addressed all the comments
Yes.
and questions on this.
I was just waiting for the response for the GEP comments. I have no concerns. That's far enough from the major wetlands, so.
Any board members have any questions? Any questions from the board? Questions from the butter? Anybody on Zoom? All right, I guess I need a motion to
Closing.
Close the
and
hearing and
issue
issue
the
order
order
conditions.
Okay, motion to close the hearing and order can.
So I have a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Ayes have it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Brian.
We'll see you
So
in a
just
couple
give
weeks.
me, probably by Wednesday,
Yeah.
I'll have it that order.
Do you want this copy of the
Yes,
1B?
I'll leave that one.
Cranberry Meadow.
Want this folded up or rolled?
I'll take care of it. Thank you. Yeah, have a good night.
All right, thank
Nice
you,
seeing you. Have a
everybody.
good
Thank
night.
you, guys. All
At
right.
least it's not raining.
Next, requests for determination of applicability for 43 Cranberry Meadow Shore Road. The applicant has submitted an RDA for the installation of a deck within 30 feet of Cranberry Meadow Pond. So what's the story on this? Go ahead.
Yeah.
Hi.
How are you?
Forte. I live at 43 Cranberry Meadow Shore Road, the property owner. I've owned it for about 7 years, and I'm looking to make some upgrades, remodels, so I can make it my permanent home.
Sit down.
You want another plan?
No, I think that's good.
Have
Yeah.
you seen it?
Yes, and Joshua,
Yeah.
how are they gonna be installed? Do you mind just elaborating on that?
The footings?
Oh, the footings,
Yeah,
yeah, the techno
yeah.
posts? Yeah.
You're gonna be doing by techno
Yeah, I'm gonna do the techno posts. That, the guy, the architect that wrote the plans originally drew them out that we were gonna do a 10-inch diameter poured concrete footing, but
Right.
that's not what we're doing.
That's why I just
Yeah, the
wanted to
yeah,
verify
that needs
that.
that needs to be updated.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it'll be technical, so that's minimal disturbance.
Like a sonotube, right?
It's not even a
Yeah.
sonotube, they just drill it in the ground. There's no excavation at all.
Yeah.
It's hydraulically driven into the ground 6 feet.
Cool.
Yeah, so it'll be 9 posts, 6 feet in the
9
ground to
posts?
support the
Can I
deck,
just
yeah.
write it down there? Oh, it's there, right?
There's 9.
Is it 9? Okay.
There's 9.
Yeah.
They're going
Anything
with
else in
sand stone.
addition to that, and it's,
No, well, the scope of the work is I want to do the deck, and then I'm gonna replace the roof, dormer the roof,
yeah, the
change
roof.
the front door, but that's it. Yeah.
Okay, nothing else that will cause disturbance?
No, no.
Steps, stones, patio,
No.
pool?
No,
No, okay.
nothing, and I'm gonna
If
install.
there is, this is the time.
Yeah, no,
No,
that's it.
okay. I don't know if they're in the butters.
I was gonna let them look at the
Yeah.
plan first.
I'm working with zoning now, to get the variances.
Yeah,
For offsets?
once I
Yeah,
approve,
for the
I'll sign
offsets.
off on my end, and then
Yeah.
we'll wait for them to make a decision.
Is it a new deck, or is it existing, replacing?
No,
an
it's a
exist-
new deck.
It's a new one,
Yeah.
yeah.
A lot of these whole lots don't meet the offsets.
I'll tell you, it's crazy.
Do I have any abutters with any questions? Do I have anybody on Zoom with any questions? So,
Motion to issue a negative determination,
with conditions.
yes.
Make a motion for a negative determination.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Go build your deck.
Thank you. It's the first time I've ever heard a negative determination being a good
It's
thing.
a good thing,
Yeah.
yeah, right?
Oh, I can tell you, there's a lot of medical tests, you want a negative determination. That's good.
Thank you very much.
I'll have it ready for you, probably by Wednesday, I'll give you a call and I'll send you a PDF by email and I'll place the original in the mail. All right? Okay, all right, thank you. You too.
Okay.
That was easy,
I
huh?
think you just put your agenda in that file.
Another battery storage.
I know, it's just like, where did my agenda go?
Next, request for land disturbance stormwater application, Griffin Road Commercial Battery Storage. The applicant has submitted a land disturbance application for the installation of a commercial battery storage with associated utilities and access drive. So what's the story on this?
So the story on this is, clearly you can see it's from the same project, Griffin Road, which is the first one on the agenda. Because of the change they made after planning board approval, they exceeded the amount of disturbance, which passed 1 acre. And we all know our stormwater rules and regulations requires
Stormwater, right?
stormwater management for anything above 1 acre. So he filed that, but I have not reviewed yet, and since we continued the first one, I'm just gonna continue that for the next meeting.
Motion to continue.
9/27.
Thank you, Mitch. Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Ayes have it. Okay, certificate of compliance. We already did the first two. Next
Yep.
one is DEP number 128-896, 72 Stafford Street. So what's the story on that?
72 Stafford Street. This is single-family home. Oh, 896.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
72 Stafford Street, is that right?
Yes. So this was for the Charlton City United Church. Are you familiar with that church? So it was built in 2004. So for some reason, they just request the certificate of compliance now.
19 years later.
Wow.
Yeah, and the engineer was Coyle Engineer Inc., which I have never
Heard of.
worked before because, it was a long time ago, but he did certify with a letter saying that the work was done in compliance with the plan. So the only comment I had to her is to either submit me an as-built or have that letter stamped by the engineer. So, but I will be okay to issue a complete certificate of compliance now, and I'll hold until the letter comes back with the stamp.
Let's approve this gentleman's
Yep.
certificate of compliance.
Great.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That happened to
Next
be-
for certificate of compliance, DEP
Stafford-
number
Stafford Street.
Can I?
That's
128.
Yeah, he needs the letter back.
Oh, got a letter
Ron.
back? He interrupted my.
I'm sorry.
I was flowing,
You're
man.
flowing so
I was
nicely.
flowing. All right, DEP number, this is a new one, 128-1810, 22 Jennings Drive.
22 Jennings Drive, I received an as-built from the engineer. Certifying that the
Lots of red ink.
Yeah, so usually they do the as-built on the approved plan to show me that they built per compliance. So if there is any change on gradings, it will be showing there. It doesn't appear that there is one.
So did they do what they were supposed to or no?
Yes.
Okay. You guys want to look at the plan or no?
See?
You wanna look at it?
Well, there
Yeah,
were,
There's a no and a yes.
I just want to see. where
is
the-
it here?
Oh, they were hitting the
Plans.
Oh,
So,
Plans were hitting the mics.
and I go, wow, it's in a tornado. So there were a few deviations. So the structure was constructed westerly of its proposed location with no effect or encroachment in the 100-foot buffer zone. Associated grading to accommodate the driveway turnaround area west to the structure did expand the work limit, however, with little impact on the buffer zone and no impact on the resource area. The impervious barrier original proposed as a part of the soil absorption system was eliminated by the contractor. Therefore, the slope to the leach field was extended out to meet breakout distances. This extension put the toe of slope closer to the resource area, but it remains substantially within the approved limit of work and therefore should have no adverse impacts on the resource area. The only thing that concerns me is stormwater, because he's telling me that
He
Yeah.
didn't really comply.
original proposed as far as was eliminated by the contractor. And this is Jennings Road, where we have a lot of complaint about stormwater.
Yeah.
That is a little bit concerning to me. I don't know how you feel, but I would like to take a look at it
It's,
before
Yeah,
approving
before-
this.
Yeah, I would agree.
And just if it were anything else related to the buffer zone, I know that he would be fine. But just because that area has so many complaints about stormwater,
the house is up already?
yeah. And
It's
they,
not the house, it's just that what
It's-
they were supposed to do to help protect stuff from
they
flowing.
had an absorption system, which means any stormwater coming from the roof and everywhere else would be absorbed into the ground. And
Yeah.
he's just stating that
But
the
he took it
contract
out.
eliminated.
He didn't make it.
No, he eliminated it, so.
Was that Jennings?
So my question is, where is the water going?
Yeah, I would.
I
would
just
agree.
wanna check.
Wherever it went before.
Well, if there was not a house there before.
You know, but
Is it, is this your place, Gary?
No?
No?
I would agree. I would want to find out.
Yeah,
make
we're not
sure
saying
it's
we're not
okay.
gonna issue it, just wanna make sure that
Yeah.
it's not.
Yeah,
going
just
away.
wanna check.
How old is it?
Not old, it was issued 2021?
So that's been fairly recent in terms of being completed.
Yeah.
So is he planning on putting it in, or?
No?
Doesn't sound like it from what she read in the letter. It just said like he eliminated it.
Because when we approved the plan called for an absorption system.
Yeah.
Because that's what they're required to do now. Where is the stormwater gonna go? If there is no house, the stormwater is gonna go into the ground and will be absorbed. Once you put a house, now it's hitting on the roof and the water is coming around, where is it draining to?
So what he said is the impervious barrier was eliminated.
So is there a
At
problem right
that
now, or
part
has there
of
been
the
a problem?
soil.
We don't know.
I don't know, they
Yeah.
just,
You haven't heard from Mr. Mason, or?
for anybody, I have not heard from anyone.
So it sounds like part of that
I, honestly,
Absorption
we've had a lot of
system was
complaints
eliminated,
about
not
that
the whole
area.
thing.
It
Yeah,
is, yeah.
kinda makes sense,
But
just look
it's
at it,
still
make,
need to
see if
check.
it's a
Yeah,
big
oh, yeah,
deal
yeah.
or not.
yeah.
neighbors have been complaining, or?
No, she said in that area, there's a
Well,
lot.
Jennings
Jennings
Road,
area,
there is a
yeah.
lot of complaint for stormwater runoff. I'm not saying particular here. So we meet again in
Right,
2
yeah,
weeks.
I know.
Yeah, we meet again in 2 weeks, I think would be, it
Yeah.
would be my recommendation, to
okay.
just push 2 weeks so I can verify.
Do the due
Yeah.
diligence to make sure.
I know they're not in rush of selling or anything, they just finished construction and they just wanna get it out of the deed, so.
So that way we just need to, don't
Let's
approve it,
continue.
right?
Yeah, don't need to continue, I'll put it back on the agenda for
Okay.
2 weeks.
Okay.
Perfect, Ron.
He knows how to fold a map.
The other one wasn't too
No, it's quite right.
That was nice.
Okay.
You got an
That's
A.
good.
You got an A on folding.
That's the first A you ever got?
Next, violations. We have 59 Pumpkin Lane. What's going on with that?
I think they requested to put it back on the agenda to continue the discussion about the sediments into the cove and the lake area, correct?
Yep.
This is Mark. Mark, did you bring the paperwork you submitted to me today?
I have
Okay.
copies of it, yes.
Yes,
Okay, happy.
do you mind start talking? I can make a couple copies just for the commission so they can follow you.
Absolutely.
I do not have a chance to do so. I'll be right back.
We meet again.
Mm.
At the last meeting, we had questioned the order for correcting the lake bottom, and our request was that we return the lake bottom to where it was before this project started. If you recall, we had a couple of people who were on our lake that actually swam out, did some measurements, found that there was a lot of sediment in the cove. However, you had the Ecotech report, so you had said that one of our options was to go out and get a company, an engineering company, to do the evaluation, which we did. So we hired Alton Engineering out of Sterling.
What was the name of it?
Alton Engineering, I'm not, oh, he is on, Alton Stone's on, so he can answer any questions you may have around him. We went out and did you'll see on the map in the write-up that you've got, we put a 200-foot tape out from where that stream comes into the cove out. We went from the water surface to the top of the silt, the light silt, then through that silt to the muck bottom, and then from the top of the muck, and then from the muck to the natural lake bottom. And you'll see when you get the report, there is anywhere between a half a foot to 3 feet of the light silt that goes out along that 200-foot tape.
That's on top of the muck.
That's on top of the natural muck, yes. So Alton had a tool that you go down with, it measures
Yeah,
these things.
yeah.
You go through the layers. We also went to the right of the, so to the east, the right of the tape. We went out 80 feet, and we were still at 2.5 feet of this silt at 80 feet to the right. Fairly significant numbers. So I'll give you guys a minute to look at it. So, our request is what we requested last time, which is we'd like to get this corrected and our lake bottom back to where it was prior to this project.
I think you all remember that this started when Santos put a house up, and we had a problem. I mean, we've been coming here for a couple of years now, because we had this, and Ecotech, and what they said happened, and he could see that there wasn't a lot of silt. Well, you can't really see it, and I think that's what we've proven now, is that it's even worse than we thought it was. As you can see by how much of
Have you
this is
had any
actually,
contact with the Santos people since this, or,
no.
so they don't have a copy of this?
No, they did their own survey, and as far as they were concerned, that was it.
So what does this report tell?
So the report, if you look at this page here with the red, the red is the tape and where we did our measurements in that cove. So we started at the beginning cove, we went out 200 feet, and then we went to the east or to the right, up another 80 feet. All of the measurements that we took are on this page. The column on the far right is the silt layer, the light layer, which was caused from the runoff coming into the cove. Now, we had seen in videos that runoff, we have videos of that going not just from the beginning of the cove and stopping where the heart, what they called the heavy sediment was, which is what Ecotech had them picking up. But we showed that sediment going all the way out from the cove and around the right corner. So if you're looking at this picture, we have video of that sediment going up this right-hand side of the lake. So it's not just the cove that's impacted.
So I think the question from last time was, what was the condition of the lake prior
Right.
to the construction?
So I think when you were getting the measurements that we took, measured the lighter, the silt from this, down to the natural muck level, and then through the muck to the bottom of the lake. And so there's those measurements. Alton, do you want to jump in and?
Can you see me and hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
In respect to specifically, Mark? When you say jump in?
Yeah, so is there findings, if we were to ask the contractor to clean this up, if he comes back at us saying, how can you prove it came from the site, do you feel confident stating that it did?
Well, the only way that I am, because I just can't see where else it came from. And I went up the road as far as we were allowed to go and took a look at the site. You know, there's been some recent hydro seeding, but the place was completely cleared, stumped and grubbed. And I could see there was one really ragged, pretty good gully that had been cut there recently. It was a foot or two wide and deep, and it was just ragged edges where the soil had just been ripped out and then run down alongside the road to the stream and then in. Now, the only way you could, I don't know if you could, you'd have to, Art would probably know better than me as a soil scientist, but I'm thinking if you took a sample of that material, all right, and did some analysis on it, and then that from the site, you winnied out some silt from the site, you might be able to prove that they were the same. I mean, silts have a, anything particular like that has a characteristic, the way it is formed a plate, however you want to phrase it, the exact material in it. So you can look at all that stuff and say, hey, this material came from here.
Sure.
And it's a little tricky. It's not something I'm just going to walk out and, just sit down and take my magnifying glass out and look at. I'd have probably a little more of an expert group to it. I might even do some sieve analysis or other tests, but I mean, we could, it could be looked at that way. Put on the table, put under a microscope. That's a thought. But again, I don't know where else it would be coming from.
Well, I concur with your findings, and I'm sorry to speak for the board, and I definitely want to help you guys out. My concern is what we're gonna get, I'm gonna be clear. I just want to make sure we're prepared, because my hunch is, Mr. Santos is gonna say, well, you have this set of findings, my guy says this set of findings. I want to make sure we have our ducks in a row to back up anything we recommend. That's just my thought.
So just for the record, there are other sources of sediments going to the lake that has been agreed in the past, and there is.
There's,
The road, the culvert that goes under the driveway, the sediments run from the road. So that is another channel of,
The sediment coming from the road has come from the first house that was built up there. Before this, either one of these projects we never had a problem with any runoff into the lake that wasn't clear water.
right.
Now, all of a sudden, 2 years later, we're sitting with God knows how much sediment in the
Sure.
lake that wasn't there before all of this. And all we're asking for is just to have them put it back to where it was in the beginning before they started doing all this building.
It's, it's detrimental to the lake. You probably don't need me to tell you this.
Of course.
That, pardon? In terms of filling up the redds for the fish, and then being a source of nitrogen and phosphorus, as well as clouding up the water and all if the boat goes near it, if it gets stirred up. So it's not helpful to the lake, and it's filled it in. People have lost depth, from it in the area. And, yes, it's nice to say it should be removed, but that's a real piece of work.
Yep.
To be honest, right now.
Yep.
I've been involved with such things, and it's not a matter of going out there with, like you're down to a kid at the seashore with your tin bucket and a wooden spoon. That ain't gonna work. It's
Nope.
gonna take some serious work to move it.
So what is your recommendation to remove it?
So they- all
What's
set.
that?
All this is all set.
What is your recommendation of,
Cleaning that up. is-
How to remove
it. To really remove that stuff, I think you'd have to go with a level of hydraulic dredging. I think the only way is to suck the stuff out, dewater it in a vapor frac tank, run the effluent through a filter bag, and then, silt bags, so they call them, and then it can go back to the pond. But it's gonna have to be treated, the water, and pull the stuff out. But I mean, you can't take a shovel in there and dig it out. By the time you move that shovel up through a water column 2 or 3 feet deep, all that light stuff's just gonna fluff away. It's just like the wind is just gonna blow it away. It's not gonna come up. And I mean, if it's extending out as far as we're saying, there's a lot of material out there. One could calculate the amount of material, but it's an irregular area.
Do we have a report from, where, from Ecotech, or? And so, they're conflicting, then, right?
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah. So to be clear, the silt layer thickness, that's in terms of feet, correct? At the very end?
Yep.
Yes. Feet intensive feet.
Right, so if I'm at 20 feet out, you had a silt layer thickness of 0.45 feet, or at station 0, and then it goes to 1.8 feet thick. That's how I'm supposed to read that last column, right?
Yep.
Okay.
We have reports, conflicting reports from two reputable,
Right, so,
I'm not saying they conflict.
not conflicting,
Because
yeah.
I didn't intend to make mine conflictive or argumentative. I respect Art, and I've, known him for a long time. We're in the same business much of the time. But it was to add to it, because you can't just say, well, it just ends right in this code, because that's where we found a pile of stuff. No, I mean, the water is
Yeah.
much more
It gets pushed out.
willing to push it out there. You gotta go out and look a little further and make sure that that's where it ends. And that, that's what we intended to do, and we found more out there. And, I think, looking at the water coming down that hill, it's gonna have a fair amount of velocity and momentum when it hits.
In the amount of rain we had too, on
Yeah,
top of
we have seen on
And
videos.
that's gonna be able to, push it out a ways, the plume. And I think, there's some videos of looking at the dark plume moving its way out into the lake.
It's a real problem.
the absolute proper way, you drain the pond, suck it out of it, but you can't do that.
Well, he
Now
just,
without
Well,
a
no, is
permit,
that they
yeah.
use, I'm probably gonna butcher this summation, but it's almost like using,
a big vacuum.
you're pushing water through different layers of like, cheesecloth.
Yeah.
You're catching the sediment and its nutrients and letting the water through. I know it's a crude approximation, but that's,
How come nobody from the Santos group ever comes?
They were not informed, I don't think so. Mark just sent me the information yesterday, or was it today?
This morning.
This morning, so no one has had the time to revise it, but he was already on the agenda, so I told him bring it to the commission and present it. So I think it's just fair to submit it, just paperwork to Art, so he's aware of the additional information that has been brought it to us. Meanwhile, I think that would be nice to have Alton maybe submitting his proposed method,
recommendation
his
on how to clean
recommendation
it.
of how to clean, and the next step, getting an estimated price, because when, I would say, to make a decision, we would have to have both parties here for the commission to either enforce or not enforce. I think numbers would be helpful. Are we talking about $10,000? Are we talking about 5, 20, 50? So those items all matter, so.
Has EPA weighed in on this at all?
EPA doesn't have jurisdiction on
EPA
it.
don't have the
because
jurisdiction.
It didn't go over, an acre. And DEP was satisfied with the work that the applicant did based on the report from Ecotech, so.
but they haven't seen this.
Correct, so he just submitted today, so I think we should circulate the report and collect
Additional data.
May I ask a
additional.
question?
Yeah.
We were specifically told we could not go down there when Ecotech did their,
Who said that?
you told me that nobody was gonna be down there except for Ecotech. I thought you were gonna be there, but you
Yeah.
had said at the last meeting you didn't go.
No,
And Gene, who was the contractor.
Yeah.
So I'm concerned that, not
That
being
was
there,
the-
because we've been involved for 2.5 years, we had the videos showing all this stuff going out. What was Art from
The-
Ecotech
There,
told?
there wasn't the intent to say you were not allowed to be there, because Art was accessing two properties and the two property owners were present. That's what it was meant, because when they accessed your neighbor's property, they signed a release of who would be accessing, and that's the only two people they would allow to access that area. So we tried to minimize the amount of traffic there from all the residents, but it was not that it was not authorized or you shouldn't have been there. That wasn't the intent.
No, I was told not to go. I will say this.
Yeah, when I
that
mentioned not
the
to, because
bottom
I
of
had a lot of back comments from the property owner being very specific or who could only be there, and their names had to be on the contract, and they had to be signed. It was done by a McClure engineer. So at that point, I didn't want to stress and add more people to because I just wanted the work to be done. So that was the intent of it. There was no other.
So even though we've had all this evidence of all this stuff coming out into the cove, yet nobody in either of the assessments that Ecotech's done has actually gone into the cove to assess what's out there.
Right, and I learned that after the report and spoken to Pete, because that's why Pete was there, because I figured they would go into the cove and assess the cove.
And then the land, which is under there, which the association owns the land, so therefore, we did have property that we're looking at that's from the Lake Association. So all I'm saying is,
Yeah.
I think we should have been able to have somebody there because I
Yes, but again, I just want to point out that was probably miscommunication, was nothing that was purposely thought through and done, and it probably was my part of
This comes
miscommunication on my
down
part.
to them saying that there isn't sediment in the lake, and we're saying that we can prove that there is sediment in the lake.
I
That's
think-
been caused by the work that they did.
I
Because we
thi-
never had this problem before they put these houses in.
Right.
Now, all of a sudden, we're sitting in a conflict of them versus us, but we,
It might not be
we
a
can prove
conflict.
that the stuff is in the water.
As Alton said, it might be just an addition to his observation, so let's not jump the gun and feel that we are
Well,
conflicting
it-
with the
it only
both
be-
professionals.
It only becomes a conflict when you start to think about costs.
Right,
Because, you know, if you're only just having to do the cove, you could put a vector on the shore and easily suck stuff out. But when you got stuff out there 200 feet,
Right.
100 feet from the shore, it's a whole different question.
Right, and
that's what I
that's-
was gonna ask the gentleman, is it actually feasible to draw the lake down at some point? Or is that, you just tossing that out?
No, we wouldn't.
so we don't have, the lake does not have a permit with DEP or DCR to have a drawdown.
All right.
So in drawing down the lake will be affecting every resident in the area, so I don't think that would be a feasible
And given the
decision.
lake's only 5 feet to 6 feet deep, and
Yeah.
we would have to basically
Have no
drain
way.
the lake.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
so I don't see that as
Yeah.
probably a very feasible option.
Right.
Safest one, the safest one.
Yeah, but you have to draw down the entire lake, and, I mean, you'll probably not be in this time of the year, probably would refill it, God knows, but we don't know tomorrow, so. So, I don't know how the commission feels.
I'm surprised that, I mean, this engineer didn't, I mean, Alton Engineering didn't give some kind of inclination as to where the sediment came from. It doesn't, it says the sediment.
He just,
He did when he was talking.
But it's
though.
not in.
I know, but it's
in the
not
report.
written in there, yeah.
Right, so,
On the
Oh.
plan.
so,
no, I think he submitted a report. Didn't you submit a report? It's just not here, yeah.
It's
What
on the
does it
back.
say?
This page, did you, this one is double-sided, I don't know.
Oh, I didn't print double-sided, yep.
Well, I'm sure that to them.
Excuse me?
It's a sediment, that's a sediment report, it doesn't say
Report, apolitical.
where it came from.
Yeah, yeah, it was on the back, Mitch.
Yeah, she didn't, just didn't copy it.
I didn't copy back, yeah.
Hmm?
No, it's on the back of it. The other side, you're right. On the back,
Association,
yep.
Yep.
survey procedures.
Hello?
Yep.
Answer that
It was
question
two.
if I can.
sure.
I attempted to just present our results straight out and keep it apolitical, if you will. I didn't want to get involved in accusing people or refuting art or any of that stuff. That wasn't the purpose of this. The
Right.
purpose was to assess the extent of sediment, and it speaks for itself, the report. We found it a couple of 100 feet off the shore out there. And there it is, and now if someone wants to do remediation, they can check measurements, and it can be planned for remediation.
Give it to Rose.
I have it.
Oh, yeah.
I just didn't print it.
Oh, okay.
Forgot it. Both signatures, maybe.
The concept is to all try and work together and get something done,
Right.
Right.
Well, I
And
understand,
that's
I understand the
mentality.
concept, but,
and beat each other up.
well, Mr. Stone, with all due respect, I can foresee, and I wanna help you guys out, but I almost guarantee you, if Mr. Santos has a law firm, they could come back to us and say, great, there's sediment there, wasn't there before, prove it came from us. I understand you have the video. Trust me, I understand. I understand what just happened. I understand it's pretty obvious, but I'm looking at it from like a court of law. Can we prove it? Because if this attorney comes back and says, no, you can't issue this enforcement order, you don't have proof. Yeah, there's sediment here, prove it came from my spot. Because that's a guarantee what this attorney's gonna do. Guarantee it.
Well, I guess one thing I was gonna suggest is that the watershed be reviewed in detail, which is, you go up the stream, we know there's the roadside ditch there of, I don't know, is that Pumpkin Lane or whichever road? that
Pumpkin
is?
Lane,
Yeah, we know that ditch is transporting material and water
yes,
from up where the job site is. And that
yes,
goes down to that stream bed.
Yep.
And then south. And then we follow, you gotta follow that whole, follow the road up in that swale and see what's going on up. Is there any construction further up? And then the stream, follow that uphill to its tributaries and see what's going on. If there's nothing else going on, that lends a lot of practical data to the
Sure.
fact that there's only one place,
Sure.
And if you can back that up with some analytical soil data, which can be done,
yep,
look at the mineral content of the silt and other things, then you got a pretty firm case.
so
But-
watershed and soil analysis.
Right, I mean, hopefully it'd be nice, we submit this report, have Art look at it too. He
Yeah,
says.
and you
if
probably
he-
work together with you.
If he says, I
so-
concur with his conclusions, give it to Santos, say, you gotta fix the problem. Hopefully he agrees to work with us, that'd be great. I'm just,
Has Mr. Allen ever,
he hasn't seen this yet.
hmm?
He hasn't
It
seen
was
this
just
report yet.
submitted
You
this
haven't seen this
morning.
report?
No,
But he was hired by the Santos people, or by Gene.
by June.
Gene paid him, or Santos people paid him?
I don't know the details.
Did Ecotech ever come up with a solution, or as to how it should be cleaned up?
Yes, they did.
They said it was
They
clean,
cleaned up.
They said it was,
I don't think they really addressed the water. I thought they addressed more
the heavy sediment.
yeah.
the
They just said
sediment.
it dissipate,
Yeah.
and
Never
the
went
water
into
would
the water.
dissipate,
Right.
which it will not.
Correct. Yeah, so,
they didn't go far into the pond to see.
So what
Right.
Rose is suggesting, first things first, is give this to Mr. Allen to review, and if he
Let him-
concurs,
And
Let him
cer-
ponder it a
I
little
mean,
bit.
not only, yeah, since he's the professional who was hired by, Santos family or
'Cause
contractor.
They never went in there and sucked anything out, or vacuumed anything out, or
No.
anything like that. They
No,
They used the
raked
bucket
the
right at
shoreline, I
the,
think.
so,
There's been two surveys of the Cove area, by Mr. Allen and a previous one by, members, I think, of the Lake Association. Is that true? I
yes,
know John had some pictures of it, and, if those results are, near each other, then I mean, that probably, firms up that the Cove at least is a problem. The question is, how far does it go? And, maybe what's his name, the responsible party will have to maybe ask the group go out and do what we did and see what they find. And then to confirm it, I mean, that's the first thing I'd be doing if someone was throwing tens of thousands of dollars of possible work that I have to do. That ain't gonna be cheap to clean that up, I'll tell you that.
sure.
One way or the other, although I haven't done a great exploration of methods for removing silt from the bottom of ponds. I don't know if you can solidify
and I would
something or-
suggest that should be your next step, to come up with recommendations or how it will be cleaned and the cost estimated, the estimated cost of it, correct?
I'm thinking the winter might be the better time, you can go out on the ice and you don't have to worry about a boat or something trying to have your dredge on. You can be working from the shore if the ice is good and thick. You can be wheeling something out there and trucking the material back or however.
Yep, so have
be
that,
their problem.
come up with recommendation, but whatever
Can
it
we-
is gonna be, if we get to that point, it's,
Yeah, I
DP
think we
is
need
gonna
to find
have
out
to-
what the person from
yeah,
Ecotech
let's
has
see,
to say. I
let's
don't know.
one step at a
He
time.
wasn't out there, maybe he would then be willing to do
Right.
something and go out.
He'll
and
probably gonna go
validate
back
the
there
data.
again, to with them, which at the time the association will be present,
Are
so
you-
we'll work together.
Are you familiar with, what do we call them now, Vectors? You familiar with Vectors? They
Vaguely,
look like a giant cement mixer, but they instead are a suction project. They use them to clean out the manholes and the catch basins and things, catch basins in particular. Although sometimes they use an orange peeler for that instead. But they're just a giant machine like a cement mixer, And, instead, that whole thing is a giant, how
Filter.
can I call it? A giant vacuum cleaner, if you will. With an 8-10 inch diameter hose at the end of it, that, can suck just pretty much everything in. I worked on some projects where we just took hundreds of yards of sludge out of the bottom of a manufacturing facility and, dewatered it and then, ran it through filters and such and got it to be acceptable to the water to go back, and the other stuff was acceptable for disposal in the landfill. But if that can be operated from shore, that's the best solution. The only problem with the lake depth now is it makes it hard for someone to walk out there and work, and working from boats is critical. If it could even get down a foot or two, that would be helpful to make it easier for people to work out there. You could probably just walk through the cove then easily enough and remove the material. Although there's, some junk in the cove, we found logs and other things that are in there as well that, perhaps should stay as natural habitat, just like the logs. Yeah.
Okay, so let's, of the board, you guys make a decision, but I would suggest we provide this to Art, have him review it and see if he's willing to work with Mr. Stone and
Maybe somebody from Santos could authorize
Well, I think what,
Arthur to come in and talk to us.
right, so once this is sent to our Allen, it will be his call to, contact his client, and then they will come back with a response.
Well, the question is whether Art and I, at some point in time, are gonna be called to point fingers or defend and be on the opposite side of a legal argument. Other than that, we can work together just fine. I've worked with Art in the past.
Right.
And I have no problem with that, and I think it would be
Right.
a good join-up and successful, but
Yep,
if, he's gotta stay unqualified on the Santos job, then he can't be working with me.
right.
I don't think Santos would let it happen.
sure.
Maybe we should refer to Santos property or family. Mr. Santos has passed, so we just need to address that properly. So. All right, so is everybody in agreement that I will circulate this to Art Allen first? He'll contact his, Jean, who was his client, and then I'll wait for a response.
Do we need to go on to the next meeting with you people?
Yes,
in
so
2
let me
weeks?
see what the response I have from Allen. I'll contact you, so if I don't move let's see how it develops. If you're not in the next 2 weeks, then we move for the first week of
All right.
October.
Well, you will take
Yeah,
care of
I'll
that
work
end of it.
with that,
Okay.
yeah.
That's fine, let me know.
Yeah,
Somewhere down the road here,
it's gonna happen,
somebody's gonna make a decision.
right.
Yeah, but we need to
Yeah.
give both parties.
Well, we need,
information.
Please,
we
please.
need
Oh,
to, yeah,
We appreciate this.
Yeah.
Go on, and keep going.
Well,
yeah,
Just understand, I think you guys understand, because God knows we should have dinner sometime, because we're out together all the time. It's-
Yeah.
That, we're concerned, it's our lake, there's property
We
here
live on a
that
lake.
can't be utilized now because of the amount of sediment in there, so whatever you can do is, obviously, is a help to us.
It's just a shame it happened. That's all.
Yes, it is.
Thank you for the report.
Thank you for your
Yes,
time,
thank you.
thank you for
Thank
the
you.
report.
Thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you,
Stone.
Rose, have you got a copy of this?
Yes, I have, it was a chaotic day, I didn't print it, but I have it in my computer.
Thank you again.
Have a good night, Pedro. I'll talk to you soon, of course, yeah. All right, be careful, oh, there we go, turn it out. Next on the
Next.
agenda,
City Depot subdivision viation. I saw
just-
numerous emails.
just to be brief and not speak much, I think the report speaks for itself. So we had another runoff that got onto the road from the subdivision. The reason I was involved, it was just, I didn't know the runoff had occurred. I usually go check after the rain has passed, but it came to my attention that a foundation was being poured,
How did he get a permit for that foundation?
but he didn't.
He didn't.
No.
That answers that.
So.
Makes it easy.
That makes it easy.
So it came to my attention that he was pouring cement.
He
and
knows better than that.
Apparently
so
not.
Just for that reason, I had to go over and take a look, and I drove with the building inspector and planning board director, and we just stopped near the site because there was no way of entering with the amount of mud that was coming out, and we noticed the people that he
Is-
hired
is-
framing the
Has
cement.
it got the slope stabilized yet?
No.
Has it been
No.
seeded or?
Well, there does look like there's some
Right,
hydrosealing on
did
it,
you
but
read the
not
grades?
enough.
Did you read Graves' report?
She sent out a late email from Graves Engineering,
Here,
and
That's his
it basically
report.
says there's a lot of work that needs to be done.
so I think what just needs to be noted here is that the report in front of you is from September 12th. This one that we passed around is for August 22nd, and the previous one is from July 12th, and they all have the same items, because the items have not been addressed. So I issued the cease and desist just for the fact that he was in violation of our enforcement order, which said that no work should have commenced on site besides stabilization. And pouring foundation for a new family home, it's not part of the stabilization, especially while he's having a runoff. So that was the only reason that I issued the cease and desist, to have him stop.
That's a more of a, wow.
Has the planning board said much about this?
So
All parties involved now.
all parties were involved. There was an email sent by the town administrator requesting the applicant to just contact the offices in writing, but the contact should be from an engineer or any professional. So what we're requesting all along was a plan to let us know what his intent was and what he was doing, how he was stabilizing. That was never in front of us. So it appears that he has hired now McClure Engineering. And I did receive an email from McClure today with some items that they believe they can accomplish by September 27th, which would include the removal of excess of the cut material from the site, repair and replace perimeter erosion controls across the site in all areas, repair all the gullies that were causing concentrated flows and erosion, continue the grading to be done in phased fashion, temporarily stabilize rough grading and disturbed exposed soils with, it was requested on the plan, install erosion control blankets on areas of finishing grade, and repair swales and install check-ins. So the work will be inspected by McClure. If these measures do not show an improvement or correction of erosion problems, then they will propose additional plans and bring in front of the commission. So unfortunately, that has to be addressed first before he move forward with any other type of just additional disturbance. So the report's pretty straightforward and clear. There is nothing to issue because the enforcement order was already in place, and cease and desist doesn't need any motion, so I'm just bringing you guys up to speed. So now it's,
What did Kurt say about that foundation being put in?
well, he issued a stop order.
So if he's got all these stop orders, how's he gonna fix anything?
Now, the stop order is for the foundation. He cannot be causing any
Right, no, okay.
building structure is not part of stabilization, so that's what was made him stop. The enforcement order, it was always clear that he needs to continue stabilizing the site until the site comes to compliance. But he hasn't done that since, the first violation was in April.
And then you had the cease and desist in
I've never seen a
July.
site so bad, and there's
Yeah.
people living there.
That's
And
even worse. Like, why aren't those people saying anything?
I mean, we're taking consideration the weather and everything else. That's why we have never, done anything past or issue any fines or anything like that, but,
Huh?
He's had some tough luck with the weather.
yeah.
He's
But-
not-
but
he's
he-
not-
I don't
he's
think
not
any
But
addressing
he's
it.
not addressing it.
I don't think any building
Correct.
permits should be issued on a project like that without.
Well, then it comes again,
compliances.
and the only thing I bring it up again is he has filed for the building permits to start building
He's
another.
had plenty of time.
He just did, and my comment would be to not
Allow him to build until he takes care of the erosion.
But according to the building code, the conservation does not have any matter on it, so they would issue the building permit and the conservation would stop. So I don't know if we're gonna get there. I did request that you please And then Graves engineer also stressed there that this has to be dealt ASAP before any other disturbance, to focus on that. But I don't have control of what building code says or what building department will do. But it is for the best interest of everyone, I believe, that, and for his own interest, that site comes up to compliance, because he's getting hurt
Right.
too. He's getting fined.
And the state's involved, right?
DP was involved, EPA was involved, so it's just shouldn't be happening that. So we're trying to help him, and we've been trying to be patient for the cleanup of the
This
wetlands.
board, this office has bent over backwards for him.
The wetlands were supposed to be cleaned last time that Art Allen was there, since when? And now he had another breach. I haven't been there, he requested me not to enter his site. Peter, do you want to take a walk? There you go. So, just bringing up the information, but it appears, according to Graves Engineering, there was a breach and the wetlands were affected. But a DP was on the site, I believe, at least that's what they told me, they were coming down today. But I have not been to the site myself, and I won't be, because I have enough professionals providing the report, so I don't need to go there.
Do we need to see him next meeting?
No.
Okay.
So all the conversation will be directly to the professional that he
Yeah, if you saw the
hired.
email, the town administrator recommended all communications through all boards be written through either his attorney or engineer.
So that's it for it?
Any questions on?
Any more stuff on that?
No? So I just, go ahead.
Okay, whole new business, says 6 Scale Road, letter of recommendation.
So that's the letter of recommendation for the property owner, 6 Gale Road, that has one common driveway for 2 houses. Our bylaw states that you can only have 2 dwellings for each common driveway. She's requesting a variance to allow for 4 houses, but extend the driveway instead of creating another one. If she creates another one, she will have to go through the wetlands once again and install a second culvert 50 feet from the already existing culvert. And DEP came back, did a site walk with Angela at the time in June, and said, nope, if that comes to us, we'll flag, and it will not be issuing a permit for that. And the letter states that, and also states the regulation, and the other part is that constructing a second crossing there, it might exceed 5,000 square feet, and according to the Wetland Protections Act, it's not permittable. So the letter's recommendation just for me to send to the Board of Appeals. So maybe to give her the variance so she can, not to mention the hardship would cost her $80,000 to comply with our bylaws. So I'm just trying to help her and see, well,
That's fine.
yeah, if the commission could
I think it's
sign.
fine.
Yeah,
So do I need a motion for recommendation letter?
I'll make the motion.
yeah, okay.
Second,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
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 I will just revise the letter for you to sign, because I put it Tom's name, but he's not here, so, and I would like that to have signed it today. All right, so I think before we adjourn, Peter Capuano has been appointed as our alternate member. So
Congratulations.
he'll be joining the meeting, and as
You might regret it, but
as I explained to him, he's allowed to participate in the meeting in case we don't have a quorum, and then he can vote and, make comments if there is no quorum. If we have a quorum, he's welcome to sit up here, and I apologize.
Sure.
I got completely lost to the chaos, and I didn't invite you to come over, but you are welcome to sit here if there is a seat available. And, but if you have more than 4 members, you don't have the right to vote or make a motion.
And what's your name?
Peter Capuano. And that's it for today.
Is that-
Thank you, Peter.
Thank you.
Is anyone there? I see 2 people holding up. I don't know if you have any questions or,
Okay,
okay. Motion to close it.
a motion to adjourn?
I just want to let the board know that I'm going to be out for, I'm
Couple months.
scheduled for October 3rd for my surgery, so
Third?
I'm going to be out. Yeah. for,
Take,
couple of months total,
take
probably
care of yourself,
anyway.
man.
Is it 6 weeks? My dad, I think, was 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Take your time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So at least you got a date.
I can't wait.
Yeah. We'll be thinking of you.
No, I have a aortic, abdominal aortic aneurysm,
Oop, that's serious.
and it's getting bigger.
Yeah. October 3rd?
October 3rd.
3rd?
Yeah.
Well, good luck. We wish you.
Caused from smoking 35 years ago. That's what they attribute it to.
Really? Well, good luck.
Yeah.
Boston? You don't have to tell me if you don't want to know, but you going to Boston?
No, St. Vincent's.
Yeah, business.
Very good hospital. Make a
All right.
motion to
Good luck.
adjourn.
Yep, make a
Oh,
motion.
I'll be back. You ain't getting off that easy.
Jackie,
Yeah, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
second.
Second?
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you for your presence. Appreciate it. Yeah, have a good night. Thank you. He was here.